Do you love rom-coms? Do you wish you could talk about Christmas movies year-round? Then we have the perfect podcast for you, Hallmarkies Podcast. Throughout the year, we cover all things romance, holiday, and Hallmark, including recaps of every Hallmark show, like When Calls the Heart and The Way Home. You can also get loads of bonus content covering shows like Bridgerton, Sweet Magnolias, and Just Like That. We are an all-female group of friends who are passionate for these shows and movies and give our honest opinions as well as gush over what we love so much. But that's not all. Every Monday, there are interviews with all your favorite actors, writers, directors, and more. Check out Hallmarkies Podcast on all your podcast providers and on YouTube. That's Hallmarkies Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.
And away we go, episode 1292 of the Al Galdi podcast. It is Tuesday, March 31st, 2026, the day after we heard from not one, not two, but three big shots with the Washington Commanders, managing partner Josh Harris, general manager Adam Peters, and head coach Dan Quinn. Each guy on Monday spoke via a session with reporters at the NFL's annual league meeting, which is taking place in Phoenix from Sunday, March 29th through Wednesday, April 1st. And we, over the next few shows, have quite a bit to go through with what each guy said, but we're going to do this properly. And so the focus of this installment of the podcast is on what Josh Harris had to say. After all, he is the lead owner. And he, on Monday afternoon, did a session with reporters for the first time since the end of our team's wonderful 5-12 2025 regular season. Hello and welcome to this Tuesday installment of the Al Galdi podcast. Next segment, analysis of what Josh Harris on Monday afternoon said about whether Washington this offseason is operating with urgency, his confidence level in Adam Peters and Dan Quinn, the idea with the team being set to announce new uniforms on April 15th, the team still being committed to the name Commanders, but also having, quote, a lot of surprises up our sleeve, end quote, regarding the branding of the team, the latest with the team's next stadium, and more. A lot to discuss with all that Josh Harris said. And yes, he reiterated that the team is sticking with the name Commanders, but also said that the team has, quote, a lot of surprises up our sleeve, end quote, regarding the branding of the team. What exactly did he mean by that? And also on the show, we'll talk Washington Wizards, Washington Nationals, and Baltimore Orioles, our rebuilding and tanking Wizards. They now are tied with the Indiana Pacers for the worst record in the NBA in the 2025-2026 regular season, a 120-101 loss at the Los Angeles Lakers late night on Monday night to fall to 17-58. The Nats now are at least 2 games above 500 in a regular season for the first time since, you ready for this, being 40-38 in the 2021 regular season. Yeah, that long ago. For a mere 2 games above 500, but the Nats improved to 3-1 with a 13-2 win at the Philadelphia Phillies on Monday evening. The O's fell to 2-2 with a 5-2 loss to the Texas Rangers at Oriole Park at Camden Yards on Monday evening. You can hit me up on X at Al Galdi. You can email me the Al Galdi podcast at yahoo.com. Email from Redskins fan on how much of Washington's bad defense this past season was the offense not being as good as it was in the 2024 season. Writes Redskins fan. In 2024, Joe Witt did more with less. In 2025, he did less with more. But perhaps what might also be true is that the offense not being as productive was a big part of Witt doing less with more. Thank you for the email, Redskins fan. Washington's defense in the 2024 season was better than the defense was in the 2025 season. But, you know, that's like saying that getting kicked in the stomach is better than getting punched in the face, okay? Neither is good. And specific to the team's defensive coordinator for the last 2 seasons, Joe Witt Jr., him having had more to work with this past season than in the 2024 season, I disagree with that. The defense in the 2024 season was remarkably healthy healthy. The defense in the 2025 season got ravaged by injury, and it's not like the 2025 defense started off as appreciably more talented than the 2024 defense. So, not to put up some staunch defensive Joe Witt, but his two defenses as Washington defensive coordinator lack talent, and the proof is that the team in free agency this offseason has signed a number of defensive players. Think about all of the unrestricted free agent acquisitions on defense for Washington this offseason. Interior defensive lineman Tim Settle, edge defenders Adafe Owe, Calevon Chason, and Charles Omenihu, linebacker Leo Chanel, cornerbacks Amik Robertson and Akello Witherspoon, safety Nick Cross. Washington signing that many guys on defense is proof that the team believes that its defensive talent this past season was really bad. But regarding Washington's offense this past season being part of the bad defense this past season, yes, there is truth in that. Now, the offense this past season was better than a lot of people realize. So Washington, for the 2025 regular season, had the following offensive rankings. Number 23 out of 32 NFL teams in total offense in terms of DVOA. Okay. But number 16 in the NFL in total offense in terms of expected points added per play per RBSDM.com. Number 12 in the NFL in yards per play. And number 4 in the NFL in red zone touchdown scoring percentage. The overall body of work of the offense was mediocre, not bad. And that to me actually is impressive, given that the QB1, Jaden Daniels, played in just 7 of the team's 17 games, and the WR1, Terry McLaurin, played in just 10 of the team's 17 games, etc. But you look at something like third down efficiency. Washington for the 2024 regular season was number 6 out of 32 NFL teams in third down efficiency, 45.62%. Washington for the 2025 regular season was number 21 out of 32 NFL teams in third down efficiency, 37.57%. Third down regression was expected because third down efficiency is a stat that tends to fluctuate for a team from season to season. And we get why the third down efficiency was down, right? I mean, again, the QB1 played in just 7 of the team's 17 games. The WR1 played in just 10 of the team's 17 games, etc. But whatever the case, whatever the reasons, that kind of drop off in third down efficiency did the defense no favors. And the fact that Washington now is going with not just a new defense, but also a new offense tells us that the team itself was not satisfied with the offense this past season, even when factoring in the injuries. Here's a telling stat that I came across the other day, and this stat is an indictment of both Washington's offense and defense this past season. Washington for the 2025 regular season was number 27 out of 32 NFL teams in most offensive snaps with a lead. 214. Just 214 offensive snaps with a lead over 17 games. You do the math. That works out to just 12.59 offensive snaps per game with a lead. That is awful. Hey, please consider subscribing to this podcast. If you're not already doing that, subscribing to the podcast costs nothing. Make sure that you never miss an episode and helps out the podcast a lot. And if you're already subscribing, thank you.
Big thanks to our sponsor, BetterHelp, for partnering with us for this important conversation about mental health.
This is Steve Smith here, former NFL wide receiver and host of the 89 show on YouTube. So having a counselor and working with BetterHelp, that gives you an opportunity to really start to unpack. But people don't understand, when you unpack things, you also open up a box that you're not always sure what's inside. So I think that's why seeing a professional is extremely important. If you need someone to open up to, visit BetterHelp. That's betterhelp.com/89 to get started.
The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA's heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
Every day, the world gets a little weirder and a lot more awesome. Cool Stuff Daily takes a look at everything from mining in space to the latest in the fight against cancer to how AI is, basically changing everything. It's all the cool stuff you didn't know you needed to know. Join us for Cool Stuff Daily as we take a quick look at science, tech, and the wait, what stories that make you sound way smarter at dinner. Subscribe to Cool Stuff Daily now, because the future's happening fast, and it's way too fun to miss.
It was on July 21st, 2023, that we had the closing of the sale of the Washington Commanders from Dan and Tanya Snyder to the Josh Harris Group. Josh Harris, as Commanders' managing partner, has done plenty of media availabilities, but he had not done a session with reporters since the end of the team's horribly disappointing 5-12 2025 regular season until Monday afternoon, when he did a session with reporters at the NFL's annual league meeting, which is taking place in Phoenix. Harris got asked about a variety of topics. We'll start with football operations. So a lot of change for Washington since the end of that 2025 regular season. We have had a revamping of the coaching staff, resulting in both the new offensive system and a new defensive system. We've had the team signing a number of significant unrestricted free agents, especially on defense. Here was Harris on Monday afternoon on whether there right now is urgency with the team.
There is. Look, no one was happy with last season. And we wanted to make a lot of progress, and so we obviously made some changes. And then I think Adam and Dan had a great free agency. We picked up a lot of great players. I think, as you all know, we now next up is the draft, and so pretty much every waking hour we're trying to improve our team. And we want to go back. We had an amazing first year, a tougher second year, but we have a lot of. We have a young quarterback that we have a lot of faith in, and time's a wasting, and we got to get on it, and that's what we're doing.
Interesting to hear Josh Harris say, quote, "time's a wasting," end quote. He may have meant that just in a general sense. He also may have meant that regarding the QB1 Jayden Daniels, and it stood out that Harris said, quote, "time's a wasting," end quote, right after bringing up the team's, quote, "young quarterback," end quote. There were many shames to Washington's 2025 season, but one of the biggest was that this was a wasted season with Daniels on his rookie contract. I have called what the Commanders have in Jayden Daniels the holy grail of the NFL, the superstar quarterback on a rookie contract. Well, time is moving quickly with our holy grail. The 2026 season is Daniels' final season before becoming contract extension eligible in the 2027 offseason. This past season was a wasted season with the holy grail. This coming season cannot be a second consecutive wasted season with the holy grail. We can't have that. And hopefully Washington this coming season isn't mangled by horrendous injury luck, especially with Daniels. It's, of course, part of what made last season a wasted season with the holy grail was Daniels himself being injured so much. He got injured 4 times. He played in just 7 of the team's 17 games in the 2025 regular season. The 2026 season also will be the 3rd season for Adam Peters as Washington general manager and the 3rd season for Dan Quinn as Washington head coach. Saying that Peters' job is on the line with what happens this coming season would seem to be too dramatic. There usually is a lengthy leash with a head of football operations, but saying that Quinn's job is on the line with what happens this coming season is not too dramatic. The guy just revamped his supposedly wonderful coaching staff just 2 seasons into his tenure as the team's head coach. There's big-time pressure on Dan Quinn to have a good 2026 season. This was Josh Harris on Monday afternoon on Adam Peters and Dan Quinn.
Dan and Adam have our have my confidence, have our confidence. We're solidly behind them, and we made the changes we thought were appropriate under their leadership. And one of the great things was that the minute, like I said, no one was happy with last season, but we immediately got on it, right? And they got on it, and sometimes there were some injuries, there were some other things that happened, but none of that's an excuse. And so we knew we had a lot of work to do, and that's what. And watching them, get back at it quickly. Dan ran an incredible process for the coordinators. Met with tons of people. I was very much up to date, and obviously we ended up with two guys that I think are, a little younger, but really have massively high ceilings, and I think can hopefully have a big impact on our franchise. And so, and then Adam took over, got, right into free agency, and you saw the activity. Obviously, it took a little time for us to get started, but that's sometimes the way things are, right? And he made a lot of important moves to get the team younger, and to get the team faster, and to go back to hopefully players that can deliver a more aggressive playing style.
Okay, so that was a pretty strong vote of confidence from Josh Harris for Adam Peters and Dan Quinn, including being very complimentary of the free agent class that Peters put together, and being very complimentary of the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator searches that Quinn conducted. It was kind of funny to hear Harris acknowledge what some fans were going crazy over, the team's supposed lack of activity upon the start of the legal tampering period on March 9th, even though that day of March 9th ended up being a notable day with multiple significant moves by the team. And the team 2 days later, March 11th, made a bunch more moves, and that ended the complaining from the portion of the fan base upset over the supposed lack of activity. I mean, the slow day for Washington in this year's legal tampering period was day 2, March 10th, but we even on that day had Washington agreeing with Kansas City Chiefs unrestricted free agent linebacker Leo Chanel on a contract. All right, the brand of Washington Commanders, a brand that now is more than 4 years old, off its birth on, yes, 2.2.22. Josh Harris multiple times has said that the team is sticking with the name Commanders. In fact, he on Monday afternoon again said that the team is sticking with the name Commanders. You'll hear that shortly. But the uniforms are changing. Washington this past Thursday afternoon on X put out a video announcing that the team on April 15th will be announcing, quote, new uniforms, end quote. We are assuming that this means the announcement of new uniforms based on the very popular Super Bowl era alternate uniform of this past season, a uniform that, of course, closely resembled the primary uniform for the Redskins during their glory days of the 1982 through 1992 seasons. The anticipation for a while has been that that Super Bowl era alternate uniform of this past season will become the team's primary uniform. But what's also lurking is the issue of the logo. The team in recent months has been incorporating a spear into the team's imagery. The Redskins in the 1960s had a helmet that on each side had a spear with a feather. Is this where we're headed? Back to the team having a helmet that on each side has a spear with a feather? Is it at all possible that the team goes back to the logo of the proud Native American warrior, the logo of Chief John Two Guns Whitecalf? This was Josh Harris on Monday afternoon on the priority of the team announcing new uniforms, and then you'll hear a follow-up exchange between Washington Commanders insider John Keim of ESPN and Harris.
The priority is honoring our past and then looking to the future, right? Updating, but not forgetting about our heritage, who we are, and honoring that. And so we have a bunch of things up our sleeve. I don't want to ruin the surprise, but we're going to continue to, go back and try to embrace our past, but then update it. And so stay tuned.
Why was that important to you to undergo that part, to embrace all that? Why was that important?
Well, because I lived through our past. I'm only 61, so I didn't go back before the 70s, but I was there for the 70s, 80s, and early 90s, right? And so I lived through how amazing those teams were, and what an impact it had on me. And I know that thousands of our fans, or millions maybe, feel the same way. And so I think it's important to go back to that as much as you can, but at the same time, we have a bright future ahead. So even the shape of the stadium and the look of the stadium, right? When you look at it, it looks like RFK. It doesn't, but it's been modernized, right? And so that's a great example. And so our uniforms are similar. I mean, some of the Super Bowl era uniforms. There's many ways to honor our past, and you're seeing how we treat athletes, and bring back some of our past superstars. So all those things go into it.
So Josh Harris saying a lot of what he has said before, but also saying regarding the uniforms, or at least the brand, quote, "We have a bunch of things up our sleeve. I don't want to ruin the surprise," end quote. What exactly did he mean by that? And how possible is it that he meant a change of the primary logo for the team? The primary logo for the Washington Commanders currently is the Black W. That's what we see on each side of the helmet. So will the new uniforms being revealed on April 15th include the Black W still being on each side of the helmets? Or is there a new/old logo for the helmets coming? A spear, dare I say, the logo of the proud Native American warrior. Look, I'm not holding my breath on the team bringing back that logo of the proud Native American warrior, though it would be great to see that logo back. But understand this. A good friend of this podcast is Darren Thacker. He is the chief of staff for United States Senator Steve Daines, a Republican representing Montana. Senator Daines is the senator who advocated for the late Walter Blackie Wetzel, the Wetzel family, and the Blackfeet tribe of Montana. The Wetzel family is a Native American family that played a big-time role in the design of the Redskins logo of the proud Native American warrior. Darren Thacker follows me on X. It was raised alongside the Chesapeake Bay, as he states in his X profile, and he last June had multiple notable posts on X. In a post on X last June 10th, wrote this, quote, "Regarding corporate sponsors, we shared history of Blackfeet logo with 10 to 12 major NFL sponsors. None expressed concern to us with concept of featuring the logo on throwback unis or NFL licensed merch," end quote. And what is meant by, quote, Blackfeet logo, end quote, is the Redskins logo of the proud Native American warrior. Also, Thacker, in a post on X this past June 28th, wrote, quote, "FedEx was one of the 10 to 12 corporate sponsors who shared with us that they would have no issue with the Commanders using the iconic logo on a throwback uniform or vintage merch," end quote. That, of course, is significant because it was FedEx that on July 2nd, 2020, put out the unforgettable statement, quote, "We have communicated to the team in Washington our request that they change the team name," end quote. Again, I'm not holding my breath on the team bringing back the logo of the proud Native American warrior, but I don't think that the team doing that is impossible. I don't think that the chances of the team doing that are zero. And what Darren Thacker put out on X this past June was very interesting. Anyway, we on Monday afternoon had this exchange between Mitch Tischler of Monumental Sports Network and Josh Harris.
As you're looking at the changes to the uniforms, has there been any discussion about the Block W or any sort of updates to like kind of logoing with the team?
Yeah, we're always looking at this stuff, and like I said, we're committed to the Commander's name.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave that we have a lot of surprises up our sleeve this season. I think people will be. I'm excited to see the reaction. I think we've got it right, and I'm going to leave it to the surprise situation.
Okay, so Josh Harris in that answer said, quote, "We're committed to the Commander's name," end quote. But Harris also said, quote, "We have a lot of surprises up our sleeve this season. I'm excited to see the reaction. I think we've got it right," end quote. So Josh Harris again saying that the team has things/surprises up its sleeve. What exactly does he mean by that? And might it be, that the surprises include a change of the team's primary logo, perhaps back to something that the team used in the past, either the spear or the logo based on Chief John Two Guns Whitecalf. Of course, there are other possibilities. What's also possible is that what Harris is alluding to is a throwback uniform featuring either the spear or that logo based on Chief John Two Guns Whitecalf. Maybe Harris is alluding to a patch featuring the logo of Chief John Two Guns Whitecalf. A lot of possibilities here. The 2026 season is scheduled to be the first of the final 4 seasons for the Washington Commanders at Northwest Stadium. It was this past September 17th that the Council of the District of Columbia, a.k.a. the D.C. Council, gave final formal approval to the deal between the Washington Commanders and Washington, D.C. for a stadium on the RFK Stadium site. The deal passed by a vote of 11-2, though there was some some drama because, of course, there was some drama. This entire process has been filled with drama. As you may recall, we had last-minute demands by the council that infuriated the Commanders, so much so that Commanders team president Mark Klaus, on the morning of the vote, put out a letter ripping the council. But the deal got passed and got final formal approval, allowing for the Commanders to maintain their construction timeline with the goal of the stadium opening for the 2030 NFL season. The various renderings of the stadium that have been put out have looked outstanding. This was Josh Harris on Monday afternoon on where things stand with the Commanders' next stadium.
On track, totally on track. Hard at work on so many cool things when you start to think about it, but basically we're starting utility construction this month. Next year, about this time, we'll start construction. We're doing some of the detailed design features, and there's so many cool opportunities with the innovation in stadiums. I mean, whether it's the shape of the scoreboard, which we may have some things up our sleeve on, whether it's size of the scoreboard, the sound, the nature of the roof, where the premium, how close many of the seats are relative to other stadiums. There's so many great opportunities, but we're definitely on track and looking forward. This is going to be an amazing project. It's the funnest part of every week for me, is spending several hours on the stadium.
Josh Harris regarding the shape of the scoreboard at the Commanders' next stadium, saying that the team, quote, may have some things up our sleeve, end quote. Boy, the Washington Commanders sleeve must be jam-packed with all of these things that are up it. But keep this in mind about the stadium. The Commanders for the stadium are using the global design firm HKS. The portfolio of HKS includes 3 of the best stadiums in the NFL in SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. I'm not going to pretend that I know a ton about global design firms, but HKS seems to know what it's doing. Josh Harris on Monday afternoon was asked if the new stadium will have RFK in the name. Here was the answer.
First step is building the stadium, and we're targeting 75,000 kind of seats or availability. We want to host amazing events. We're trying to get the Women's World Cup to play there, and all the best acts will play there, and so there's so many things to do, but the naming rights is kind of way off.
But
good try.
Yeah, I mean, we are years away from this stadium, so getting all caught up in what the name of the stadium will be, we got to pace ourselves. Also, Josh Harris on Monday afternoon said that there are no plans for the team to move from its current team facility in Ashburn, Virginia, as the Harris Group has put a lot of money into that facility. Whatever big event you're planning, a wedding, a party, whatever, consider using a great sponsor of this podcast, cateringbyuptown.com. Visit cateringbyuptown.com and make sure that you mention that Al Galdi sent you. Catering by Uptown is outstanding. It is a family business. It is run by the Pereiras, who are great Washington Commanders fans. Catering by Uptown is committed to meeting your every need with elegance and precision. Catering by Uptown takes care of every detail so that you can enjoy your event. And Catering by Uptown's specialty is weddings. Get excellent service at an affordable price. In fact, if you visit cateringbyuptown.com and click on venues, you can check out Catering by Uptown's premier wedding venues. Visit cateringbyuptown.com and make sure that you mention that Al Galdi sent you. That's cateringbyuptown.com and make sure that you mention that Al Galdi sent you. Our rebuilding and tanking Washington Wizards have done it. They have gotten back to being the worst team in the NBA. A 120-101 loss at the Los Angeles Lakers late night on Monday night. The Wizards in the NBA's 2025-2026 regular season now are 17-58. tied with the Indiana Pacers for the worst record in the NBA, and the Wizards are getting ever so close to clinching keeping their reported top 8 protected first-round pick in the perceived to be loaded 2026 NBA draft. The Wizards have 7 games left in this regular season. That cannot end soon enough, and I say that as someone who is a Wizards fan who is all in on the tank, but the tank is painful, make no mistake. For a while, we as Wizards fans could root for the team to lose, but find enjoyment in the team's key young players playing well. There lately has been a lot less of the key young players playing well, in part because they're not playing. Bilal Coulibaly did not play due to a right heel ailment. Alex Sarr did not play for a second consecutive game due to a left big toe injury. Keyshawn George did not play for a 15th consecutive game, this due to a partial tear of the UCL in his left elbow. Also, Trae Young did not play for an 8th consecutive game due to a re-injured right quadriceps and also lower back irritation. Anthony Davis did not play for a 26th time in 26 games since being acquired by the Wizards via trade on February 5th, what was 2026 NBA trade deadline day. He's not playing due to a finger sprain on his left hand. D'Angelo Russell did not play for a 26th time in 26 games since being acquired by the Wizards via the Anthony Davis trade. The Russell situation is bizarre. He is being listed as not being with the Wizards. He is not expected to ever play for the Wizards. But, in the current NBA, this kind of thing happens. A guy just doesn't show up, and it's okay. He doesn't have to play. And Cam Whitmore is done for the season due to right shoulder deep vein thrombosis. I do want to salute Justin Champagnie. He, in 26 minutes, 53 seconds as a starter, had 18 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists versus no turnovers, and a team best plus-minus rating of plus 11 as Champagnie in a game that the Wizards lost by 19 points somehow had a plus-minus of plus 11. Not easy to do. He went 1 for 2 on threes, 7 for 10 on twos, and 1 for 1 on free throws. But also in this game was our Wizards getting LeBron. The Wizards allowed LeBron James, in this his age 41 season, to have a triple-double. He, in 33 minutes, 2 seconds as a starter, had 21 points, 12 assists versus 4 turnovers, 10 rebounds, and a game best plus-minus rating of plus 25. He went 1 for 3 on threes, 7 for 13 on twos, and 4 for 6 on free throws. We, during Lakers head coach J.J. Redick's postgame press conference early Tuesday morning, had this back and forth.
JJ, when you're in the moment coaching like you were tonight, are you able to enjoy LeBron James, to marvel what he does out there?
I enjoy all of our guys every single night. Just not all the time.
But he hit a triple-double tonight at 41 years old, another one. That's pretty majestic. How about that?
Yeah, did he break another record or tie another record?
His own record.
The wins record. Tied the wins record for playoffs and regular season. I'll just say he's very praiseworthy. I don't know what else to say about him at this point. I've tried to give every version of the same soliloquy on his longevity, but I don't have anything for you tonight.
Well, as we heard, another record for LeBron James. He tied another Lakers all-time great, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, for most regular season and postseason wins in NBA history, 1,228. The Lakers were without Luka Doncic, this due to him serving an NBA-issued one-game suspension without pay for receiving his 16th technical foul of this regular season. Next up for the Wizards, home to the Philadelphia 76ers, Wednesday night at 7. Won't make it 3 wins in 4 games for the Washington Nationals in MLB's 2026 regular season. Not bad for a team that has restarted a rebuild. The Nats' new process. I have been singing its praises on this podcast. The new process based on analytics and sports science doing quite well. Trust the process. A 13-2 win at the Philadelphia Phillies on Monday evening in Game 1 of a 3-game series. You think about this. It was Philadelphia's NBA team, the 76ers, that popularized the phrase trust the process with their all-in on analytics rebuild, greenlit by 76ers co-managing partner and Washington Commanders managing partner Josh Harris. The Nats process under President of Baseball Operations Paul Taboni, General Manager Anirudh Kalambi, and manager Blake Butera is looking good. The Nats in their 3 wins have outscored the opponents 29-9, but what was so funny about the Nats' latest offensive performance is that it came in a death by 1,000 paper cuts type fashion. The Nats in this game, 13 runs, 17 hits, which were 3 doubles and 14 singles, 5 walks, 8 for 22 with runners in scoring position, but the Nats for the entire game per StatCast had just 5 exit velocities of at least 97 miles per hour. The Nats were not hitting balls hard, but the Nats were putting balls in play and were getting on base. And speaking of that, Joey Wiemer, he made MLB history. He is the Nats starting center fielder and number 9 batter, went 2 for 4 with 2 singles and a walk. Wiemer had a single in each of his first 2 plate appearances, making it so that he reached base in each of his first 10 plate appearances in this regular season, tying Toronto Blue Jays first baseman Carlos Delgado in 2002 for the most consecutive plate appearances reaching base for an MLB player to begin a regular season since 1951. The legend of Joey Wiemer is growing by the day. This is a guy who the Nats claimed off waivers from the San Francisco Giants this past January 5th. Here he is making MLB history. James Wood, he is the Nats starting right fielder and number 1 batter, went 1 for 4 with a double, a bases loaded walk, and another walk. I want to mention Jose Tena. He was the Nats starting DH and number 7 batter. He went 3 for 5 with 2 RBI singles and another single. Tena in the Nats 2-run 6 had a 2-out full count RBI single through the right side of the infield for an 8-2 Nats lead, despite the batted ball having an expected batting average per StatCast of just 110. That single epitomized the Nats offense in this game. Also, Tena in that Nats 2-run 6 scored via the Nats successfully pulling off the trick play with runners at the corners of take off from first base, get caught in a rundown between first and second base, and then have the runner on third base score. And this was especially significant because the Nats in recent seasons with Davey Martinez as manager and then Miguel Cairo as interim manager butchered this play so often. Could not get this play right to save their lives, but here we had the Nats in regular season game number 4 with Blake Butera as manager, and they successfully pulled off the play. Again, trust the process. The Nats starting pitcher in this 13-2 win at the Phillies on Monday evening was Foster Griffin, and he did well. He allowed 2 runs in 5 innings with 5 strikeouts versus no walks. He gave up 5 hits, which were a home run, a double, and 3 singles. He issued a hit by pitch. He over 86 pitches through 55 strikes versus 31 balls. Griffin in the bottom of the 5th gave up a 2-out first pitch, 2-run homer by Rafael Marchand to left field to cut the Nats lead to 7-2. But Griffin otherwise was good, and it's going to be really interesting to see how he does for the Nats. Foster Griffin, this is his age 30 season. The Nats this past December 22nd announced having signed him to a 1-year contract off him having been pitching in Japan. He was taken by the Kansas City Royals with the number 28 overall pick in the 2014 MLB first-year player draft out of the First Academy in Orlando, Florida. Was released by the Toronto Blue Jays in November 2022, but resurrected his career by pitching in Japan. He, over the 2023 through 2025 seasons, pitched for the Yomiuri Giants of Nippon Professional Baseball, which is Japan's version of Major League Baseball. And Griffin for the Yomiuri Giants, in working as a starting pitcher, had an ERA at 2.57 and a whip of 1.033 over 315 and 2/3 innings over 3 regular seasons. Well, Griffin on Monday evening looked good. And the Nats relief pitching in this 13-2 win at the Phillies on Monday evening. 2 Nats relievers combined for 4 scoreless innings. Brad Lord was terrific. He tossed 3 scoreless innings with 3 swinging strikeouts. Lord over 4 games is the Nats leader in innings pitched, 5 1/3 over 2 relief outings. And I bring that up because he so far has looked good as the Nats long man. The Nats have not had a true quality long man in quite some time. Brad Lord, at least so far, is looking like such a guy. Cole Henry, he tossed a scoreless bottom of the 9th despite giving up a single double and issuing a wild pitch and a walk. He threw 18 pitches, just 9 strikes versus 9 balls. So here was Blake Butera during his post-game session with reporters on Monday night, and then you'll hear multiple follow-up exchanges. We begin with Butera on the Nats offense.
Yeah, 1 through 9, it was really good the whole night. Just fun to see those guys put together some at-bats, string together a bunch of hits in a row, and run the bases really well also. Just a good night all around.
You've talked a lot about how the preparation often matches what you see in a game. What did you see in the preparation today?
I just think the guys right now, just their prep work has been awesome. Our hitting coaches have done an outstanding job making sure these guys are fully prepared and know exactly what they're walking into going into the game. Is it going to turn into 13 runs every night? Probably not. That'd be great if it did. But at the end of the day, just our process has been really good, and these guys feel comfortable, confident, and dialed when they're walking up in the box.
So they kept adding on, especially tonight. How good was it to see them just keep adding on, not taking anything for granted?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. We know we're playing a really good team. Phillies lineup is dangerous. So we get up early like that, we had to keep our foot on the gas just to know what they're capable of doing. But hat tip to Foster, to Lordy, to Cole Henry, just the way they pitched tonight as well. It was awesome.
You mentioned Foster, his first appearance in the majors since 2022. Talk about what was going good for him and how good to see him get that win.
Yeah, I think I said earlier, like just he's a tactician out there. Just seems to be in total control at all times. Mixes his pitches really well. I think there was one at bat earlier in the game where he was had gone through 5 pitches and they were all 5 different pitches. It's just not comfortable as a hitter when you have no idea what's coming, and he just did a great job of mixing and matching.
It's a long season, I realize that, but the start you guys are off to, just how nice is it to get out of the gates as quickly as you can, so far, as quickly as you can so far?
Yeah, 100%. It's nice to get off to a good start. We know it's a long season, 162 of these, so just to get off to the start we're off to now is huge. But like I said, whether it's game 160 or game 3, like they all count them the same, right? So we want to make sure we take advantage of games like this.
All right, and game 2 for the Nats at the Phillies, Tuesday evening at 6:40. The Nats starting pitcher will be an opener, reliever P.J. Poulin, as the Nats' new process now includes them embracing a strategy they, for whatever reasons, had been refusing to embrace, with Mike Rizzo as president of baseball operations and general manager and Davey Martinez as manager. I've been begging for the Nats to embrace the opener strategy. At last, we're going to see this on Tuesday evening. Again, trust the process.
This is Mike Volo of Lexicon Valley.
And I'm Bob Garfield. Are you one of those people who sometimes uses words?
Do you communicate or acquire information with, language?
Hey, us too. So join us on Lexicon Valley to chew over the history, culture, and many mysteries of English, plus some wisecracks.
Find us on one of those apps where people listen to podcasts.
The Baltimore Orioles went into MLB's 2026 regular season with, on paper, the best starting pitching rotation that the team had had in years. But the rotation so far has produced just one good outing. Another bad outing on Monday evening, a 5-2 loss to the Texas Rangers at Oriole Park at Camden Yards in Game 1 of a 3-game series. So the O's now are 2-2. And a rough Orioles regular season debut for starting pitcher Chris Bassitt. We just got into a successful Washington Nationals regular season debut for starting pitcher Foster Griffin. But Bassitt on Monday evening allowed 4 runs in 4 1/3 innings. He gave up 6 hits, which were a double and 5 singles. He issued 4 walks and a hit by pitch. He recorded 3 strikeouts. His pitch count was sky high. He, over his mere 4 1/3 innings, threw 100 pitches, 61 strikes versus 39 balls. Also, he committed a throwing error. This season is Chris Bassitt's age 37 season. The O's on February 13th announced having agreed with him on a 1-year contract as a free agent. The contract reportedly is worth $18.5 million. Bassitt has been very good and very durable. He, over the previous 7 regular seasons, 2019 through 2025, has registered an ERA of 3.60 and an ERA plus of 1.15 over 192 games, including 188 starts, and he has made at least 30 starts in each of the previous 4 regular seasons. So the O's signing Bassett made total sense, but Monday evening did not go well. This was Orioles manager Craig Albernaz during his postgame press conference on Monday night on Chris Bassett, and then you hear a follow-up exchange between Orioles insider Rich Dubroff of BaltimoreBaseball.com and Albernaz.
He just command wasn't sharp early. The first inning, they did a good job of getting the ball forward. Some soft contact. I found holes. I think Bassett would like to have that PFP back and throw home. But other than that, the walks hurt, but he battled and pitched us into the 5th, which was big for us, especially with the bullpen the way it was.
Yeah. So you've had 2 games. You've had 2 games the last 3 where you couldn't get 5 innings out of the starter. Is that, even though it's very early in the season, is that worrisome?
No.
There you go. No. But Craig Albernaz is right. It is so early in this regular season. The Orioles' offense in this 5-2 loss to the Rangers on Monday evening was bad for a 3rd time in 4 games. So just 2 runs, 7 hits, which were a home run, a double, and 5 singles. Just 1 walk, just 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. The O's got work by Rangers starting pitcher Jack Leiter. He allowed 2 runs in 6 innings with 8 strikeouts versus 1 walk. The bright spots were Gunnar Henderson and Adley Rutschman. Gunnar Henderson, as the Orioles starting shortstop and number 2 batter, went 2 for 4 with a solo homer and an RBI single. Did commit a fielding error, but Henderson in the Orioles' 1-run first had a 1-out solo homer to center field to tie the game at 1. The homer went a projected 410 feet per Statcast. And Adley Rutschman, as the Orioles starting catcher and number 4 batter, went 1 for 4 with a double. Rutschman over these first 4 games has 3 doubles, 4 for 11 with 3 doubles, a single, and 2 walks. The Orioles relief pitching in this 5-2 loss to the Rangers on Monday evening was good. 3 Orioles relievers combined to allow 1 run in 4 2/3 innings. Dietrich Enns tossed 1 2/3 scoreless and hitless innings with 4 strikeouts. Rico Garcia tossed 2 perfect innings with 3 strikeouts. Tyler Wells did allow 1 run in 1 inning. He in the top of the 9th allowed a run on a 1-out double, followed by back-to-back 1-out singles. Game 2 for the O's against the Rangers at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Tuesday evening at 6:35. Zach Eflin will be the Orioles starting pitcher. And that'll do it for you and me for now. Keep the feedback coming. You can hit me up on X at Al Galdi. You can email me the Al Galdi podcast at yahoo.com. Wednesday show, episode 1293, will include a lot for you on the Washington Commanders. Also on Wednesday's show, I'll talk Washington Capitals, Washington Nationals, and Baltimore Orioles. The Caps are home to the Philadelphia Flyers Tuesday night at 7. The Nats are at the Philadelphia Phillies Tuesday evening at 6:40 for Game 2 of a 3-game series. The O's are home to the Texas Rangers Tuesday evening at 6:35 for Game 2 of a 3-game series. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and I'll talk to you on Wednesday.
We're committed to the Commander's name. I'm going to leave that we have a lot of surprises up our sleeve this season. I think people will be. I'm excited to see the reaction. I think we've got it right, and I'm going to leave it to the surprise situation.
Every day, the world gets a little weirder and a lot more awesome. Cool Stuff Daily takes a look at everything from mining in space to the latest in the fight against cancer to how AI is, basically changing everything. It's all the cool stuff you didn't know you needed to know. Join us for Cool Stuff Daily as we take a quick look at science, tech, and the wait, what stories that make you sound way smarter at dinner. Subscribe to Cool Stuff Daily now, because the future's happening fast, and it's way too fun to miss.